Hey everyone, and welcome to FTW Philly, presented by Temple University. I'm Marisa Magnatta, joined as always by Nekkra Kelly. How are you this week?
I'm doing so well, Marissa, and I'm really excited about this episode because we've got some of the latest trends that we're going to be covering today.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Who in 2021 thought that chess would be one of the biggest trends? Well, we're on top of it. Plus, we have an ultimate cheat sheet for all you Overwatch, maybe novices, and some video gaming news and some esports news. I think it's time to get started. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan. In esports news, let's kick things off with a local story. Nerd Street Gamers teamed up with Complexity to hold a Valorant Invitational this past weekend that boasted a $10,000 prize pool with group stages followed by a knockout stage for the main event. In group stages, there were 4 groups, A through D, where Group A wasn't broadcast, but XSET took the very first seed in the group by going undefeated and not dropping a single map. Group D, however, was stiff competition, with Renegades coming out on top. In the quarterfinals, XSET then went on to beat Renegades. In the semifinals, XSET beat Luminosity. And in the grand finals, XSET took on Built by Gamers, beating them 2-1 to take home first place and $6,000. The BBC broadcast the Rocket League Championship Series X Winter Split on January 9th and 10th of this past week. Specifically, they showcased the Europe Regional Number 3, which featured teams like David Beckham's Guild Esports, which is an organization we talked about in a previous episode of FTW Philly. BBC has also broadcast the European Spring Series last year, but this continues to follow a trend of major networks broadcasting esports events. In fact, this is not going to be the last time the BBC broadcasts an esports event. Later this month, they plan to broadcast the CSGO Blast Premier Global Finals. Formula E has announced an online series, Formula E Accelerate, off the back of a rise in popularity of the esport and simulator in 2020 due to the COVID pandemic. Formula E Accelerate held open qualifiers on January 13th for fans to join personalities and real Formula E drivers in competition starting on January 28th. The finals are set to be held on March 25th to see who's going to take home the lion's share of the $120,000 prize pool. Moving back to Riot, it's no secret that the League of Legends esports model is one of the most successful in the gaming industry. Riot hopes to duplicate the success by adding other esports titles under that wing, including their mobile game League of Legends Wild Rift, their card game Legends of Runeterra, and their auto-battler Teamfight Tactics. Another big announcement comes with Riot's expression of where League of Legends Worlds will be held in 2021. Shenzhen, China is the final stop on the World Tour, with other cities for earlier rounds of competition to be revealed later on in the year. So many exciting things are on the horizon when it comes to esports in the year 2021. As we get more of those tidbits in, we'll be sure to let you know in our esports news segment. But that's going to be it for the esports headlines. Speaking of League of Legends, we still have a lot more to show you. Coming up in Field of View with Darth Mike, we're going to be taking a closer look at the newest champion, Viego, as well as taking a look at what Awesome Games Done Quick did awesome in this past weekend.
Welcome to Field of View with Nerd Street Gamers, your weekly dose of gaming news. I'm Darth Mike, coming to you live from the Summoner's Rift, and I've been dropping wards all over the place to try and turn up some news, so let's get into it. It's time to get excited if you're a League of Legends fan, as Riot has announced the newest champion coming to the server, and it's a big one. It's none other than Viego, the Ruined King himself, coming in to lend his abilities to the game. Now, he's already been revealed as the primary antagonist of the new League of Legends RPG coming out, titled The Ruined King, a League of Legends story, but will now be joining the base game itself. And he promises to be a doozy. His abilities include a lot of damage dealing abilities, as well as the power to take control of any champion that he participates in killing, possessing their body, restoring a chunk of health, and then being able to use their abilities and turn them against their allies. It's going to make him a very potent foe in the server, but based on his character design outside of the server, all rippling abs, giant sword, and sweet Spanish lilt, it seems like he's going to slay some hearts outside of the game. Awesome Games Done Quick 2021 wrapped this past weekend, and they raised over $2.7 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. That's an incredible achievement. If you're not familiar with Awesome Games Done Quick, it's a speedrunning marathon. That is, they play a bunch of games, both new and classic games, and try and run through them as quickly as humanly possible, setting records along the way. It took place over a full week, running from the 3rd to the 10th, and for the first time ever was entirely online due to the effects of the pandemic. It is, again, I want to reiterate this, an incredible achievement. Over $2.7 million raised for a fantastic cause. It just shows what gamers can do when they all come together around a shared passion and for a good reason. We can accomplish a lot. So, congratulations to everyone involved in Awesome Games Done Quick, whether they were speedrunning the games, participating in the broadcast, the organizing, whether they were donating and watching. It was over 150 games run, over 25,000 individual donators, and again, over $2.7 million raised. I think they've got the world record speedrun on cash raise now. We've got new skins coming to Fall Guys, and they come from an unlikely source. They're Doom skins. Doom skins in Fall Guys. Not exactly an expected marriage. Kind of an odd couple here. You've got the zany, goofy, cartoony Fall Guys beans bouncing around their obstacle courses and getting knocked off the map. And then you've got the Doomslayer putting his foot into the guts of a hell beast and ripping and tearing until blood sprays all around the screen. Not what I would have expected. But hey, Fall Guys keep going in odd directions with their skins. There was, of course, the skins they auctioned off for charity that then got distributed to people like Ninja and Aim Labs. And now you've got the Doomslayer himself. He's also bringing along the Kako Demon, the one-eyed monstrosities that float around the plains of hell, and the Tyrant from Doom Eternal himself. So you can drop into the game, dress up your character, and rip and tear your way to a crown. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of sad news to share with you as well this week. 7-time Tetris world champion Jonas Neubauer has passed away at the age of 39 due to an unexpected medical emergency. The news was announced by his wife on his Twitter account, and it is a devastating blow for the gaming scene at large, because while Tetris Classic Championships might have been a bit of a niche scene, Jonas was a tremendous ambassador for them and helped bring the game back to a degree of prominence in the gaming community. It's one of the true classics and something that unites multiple generations in competition, and he was a 7-time winner, dating back to first competing in 2010, coming second in many of the years that he didn't actually win. It's a huge loss for the gaming scene in general. He'd also built a community on Twitch, streaming under the name Nubbin's Goody, and he will be dearly missed by many in the gaming space. Our condolences to all of his family and loved ones. Well, that's it for this week on Field of View with Nerd Street Gamers, your weekly dose of gaming news. Now, nobody actually explained my champion abilities to me, and I think I hear some minions coming, so I'm gonna go ahead and slink off into the jungle and skedaddle.
Oh my goodness, Marissa. The fact that AGDQ raised over $2.7 million, all while being done virtually, is incredible for Prevent Cancer.
Phenomenal, and kudos to the team behind them and the 25,000 plus people that participated. That's amazing.
That is super amazing. What a big event for them this year. And in Field of View, we were able to learn about the new champ for League of Legends, Viego. That's super exciting.
Yeah, see, I don't know much about League of Legends and the champs and all the roles, what everybody does. You're gonna have to school me on this one.
I think the next segment's gonna do the trick for you, Marissa. In this next segment, we're going to teach you all about the different types of roles that heroes occupy in both Overwatch and League of Legends. You don't wanna miss it.
One thing you'll find in common across all multiplayer video games is the use of teamwork to achieve your objective. From battle royales to battle arenas, the majority of multiplayer video games rely heavily on team-based play modes, and esports are built around this atmosphere of competitive team play. Almost every popular esports title, from Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Counter-Strike, to NBA 2K, Super Smash Bros., and League of Legends, demands players work as a team in order to achieve victory. While team roles in titles such as Call of Duty focus on short, medium, and long-range effectiveness, the games we'll be covering today implement class-based systems, where the character you choose to play is just as important as how you play them. If you follow esports, you may have heard the terms tank, healer, damage per second, or even area of control. We'll be looking at these roles in games such as League of Legends, a 5 vs 5 multiplayer battle arena, and Overwatch, an objective-based 6 vs 6 first-person shooter. The most popular roles that make up a competitive esports team are tanks, healers or supports, damage per second, also known as DPS, and area of control. Tanks are one of the most iconic roles in esports titles, such as Overwatch and League of Legends. These larger-than-life characters are given the name of tank for being figuratively, and in some cases very literally, as big as a tank. Tanks are characterized by their large amount of hit points, high armor class, and difficulty to remove from the battlefield. You'll often find tanks act as the first line of engagement or defense on behalf of the other roles. The support or healer class focuses on aiding teammates rather than dealing damage, and could be considered the most important role of any balanced esports team. The healer's main focus is to keep their team healthy by restoring health points. While that may seem straightforward, healers are often the most targeted position by the opposing team and therefore have to maneuver strategically throughout the match in order to provide support for their team, without putting themselves in too much danger. The opposite of the tank is the DPS. While the tank is difficult to take down, the DPS is the one best suited to attempt such a task. The DPS is a team's main damage dealer and is often the most mechanically challenging and most exciting role to play. DPS characters are usually faster, smaller, and have less health than their teammates, and so must rely on their team to survive long enough to make an impact on the game. Area controllers are utility-based characters built to deny the enemy team access to certain locations. This can be achieved through physically stopping enemies or by placing massive area of effect damaging abilities or debuffs in their way. Area controllers, as made obvious by their name, target areas of the map or battlefield, rather than specific enemies. While area controllers are not as popular as DPS or tanks, very little can dismantle a team's strategy as well as a well-placed area effect. When building a team for competitive play, it's important to keep in mind that each of these roles is beneficial to the others. While it may seem like a clever idea to create a team entirely made of tanks, you'll quickly find the significant decrease in damage output will be difficult to overcome. Likewise, a team of nothing but DPS characters will be able to deal a large amount of damage, but without any healers, they may find themselves wiped out before they can effectively compete. Even balanced teams are at risk of this. That is why team communication and cooperation is key, so that each role can contribute to the team's overall success. Overwatch currently requires competitive teams to have 2 healers or support roles, 2 DPS, and 2 tanks. While these stipulations may change, here's an example of a well-synergized team for this structure. Lucio and Mercy pair well as healers. Lucio can heal the group, while Mercy focuses on the most in need. Pharah is a solid addition thanks to her flying abilities and splash damage, while McCree provides a serious amount of damage to the enemy team with sustained fire and pinpoint accuracy. Zarya and Reinhardt are able to round out the team as solid tanks, providing a sturdy first line of defense, as well as the ability to protect any who stray too far. Let's take a look at a balanced League of Legends team. As the DPS, Jinx is a great choice with her sustained damage and speed boost on kills and objectives. In the support role, Soraka is one of the strongest healers in the game, as most of her abilities focus directly on keeping allies at full health. Ahri, a highly mobile mage who provides a constant threat thanks to her high damage, is a solid area controller. Malphite makes for a great tank because of their high health and defensive stats, as well as consistent and powerful engage. For a second tank, who also offers some magic damage, Zac rounds out the team with his high defensive stats, sustain, and long-range engage. The most important thing to keep in mind is that whatever role you play should fit with your play style. If you enjoy being constantly on the offensive, you might want to consider the DPS role. If you're a more tactical mind that enjoys keeping track of battlefield resources, a healer or support role may be right for you. Likewise, the role you play should be the right fit for your team. Without team balance, it's very difficult to win a game. So think twice before you create that 6 Winstons Overwatch team. No matter how you play, keep these roles in mind, and you'll be ready to jump right into the action.
Okay, what exactly were they talking about with playing 6 Winstons, and is that something we can do?
I wish we could, Marissa, but I don't think that's possible unless we get really lucky playing mystery heroes.
Fair enough, it just sounded like fun. But while we're chatting about Overwatch, are there any updates for the season this year?
So no news on when the Overwatch League season is going to start for this year, but with speculation that Overwatch 2 is going to be potentially coming out, maybe we'll hear a little bit more about that at the virtual BlizzCon that's happening later this year. I'm super excited about what the future of Overwatch Path to Pro Esports holds.
I love your excitement. It just bleeds from your screen over to mine and puts a big smile on my face. It's just so fun to talk about this stuff with you. Thank you for those updates. And hey, if you are one of the millions of people who watch the Queen's Gambit, or maybe you're just a chess fiend, we have a segment all about playing chess virtually, which is perfect for these pandemic times.
I remember when I would be in New York City playing in a park with chess hustlers. Those people were incredible at chess, which is what made it more entertaining.
It's very different how they behave when they are sitting in front of each other. They have their poker face on, they don't really give any signs. Basically just you have a thinking pose on and that's all you see.
But with COVID happening, that really changed the game of chess.
If you've ever considered taking up chess,
Americans are streaming more chess content than ever.
is in the middle of a digital
It reports
renaissance.
a 215% increase in sales of chess sets and accessories.
It's a game that stands alone in its character and its long tradition.
Chess blew up this year, and I think there are two big reasons. The coronavirus happened.
Chess had already seen a boost in popularity beginning in March when the coronavirus lockdowns began.
And then also you have the Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
Jesus Christ, Harmon, you're humiliating my rook.
You won't have to suffer much longer.
From the lockdown on, we organize most events, if not every single event, online. And I think that was one of the reasons for the first chess boom in 2020. Little did we know in the chess community that the Queen's Gambit was going to produce an even bigger chess boom. Suddenly, chess became fashionable and trending. Everyone wanted to pick up chess again.
The first one that came out was 62 million viewers. That is astonishing.
It's a huge push to chess. It was one of the few sports that could keep competition up online.
Online chess is a lot faster than over-the-board chess.
It is a benefit to the viewers that there are mistakes because the evaluation bar jumps up and down. That's what the viewers like to see, that there's something happening, how the players react to it. They don't see each other, so basically the reactions are very genuine. If they make a mistake, they might be upset. I think the viewers feel a lot more like they can feel what the player is going through for real.
For each sub-game that I lose, I will take a shot of wasabi. The online chess scene is quite different from the in-person chess scene.
You might get trolls in one channel, you might get wholesomeness in another. You might get backseat gaming in one, you might not in the other. People will tell moves to the streamers, like that does happen. You wouldn't do that in a tournament. Like if somebody was in a tournament and shouted out what move to make, they would be ejected immediately.
I think online tournaments make it a lot more accessible for people because not everybody can afford to travel to tournaments.
I would never have the chance to play against a grandmaster from, let's say, Russia or any other major country without me having to go there. It globalized the game in one format.
Chess is, a board game, but I guess it's also becoming pretty much like a video game.
That makes it a much lower barrier of entry in terms of like a business standpoint. And because of that, you have players that are getting signed to organizations. Like Alexander Botez got signed to Team MB. Andrew Tang, who's a grandmaster, got signed to Cloud9. Hikaru Hakamura is signed to TSM. And Nemo's on CLG. I mean, these are all major esports teams.
But of course, I guess after COVID, it's gonna raise the question of do we have both? Do we combine? What happens? I just hope that, people keep wanting to watch chess online because where else am I going to get the chance to play 1 minute chess, right? We don't have that over the board.
It has given such a bonus to broadcast when you can see the players' actual reactions and the convenience for the players that they can play from home. They don't have to travel. Of course, once the situation goes back to normal, I'm pretty sure that there will be plenty of over-the-board tournaments, but what I expect is a mix of over-the-board physical chess tournaments, on-site chess tournaments, and online chess at the same time.
Chess, you gotta think, chess has existed for 1,500 years. That will exist afterwards. And there will still be people watching streamers play chess at a much higher rate than before. And I think that's what's important.
I feel like chess is a lot like life. It certainly taught me to not only plan ahead and know where I'm going, but also to take responsibility for my actions and know that losing doesn't mean it's a failure. Losing is just a valuable lesson that we make mistakes. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. But if you grow from your mistakes, then it was all worth it.
So cool to see how there's been an upsurge in popularity of chess as an esport, and the fact that we got a chance to talk to two amazing women in the space, Anna and Nemo, just makes me so excited.
Yes, I mean, we've all watched The Queen's Gambit. If you haven't yet, you have to. Let me just say that. But she was a fictional character. These two women are real-life inspirations and showing us what you can do with the sport.
I know, the fact that they're grandmasters is so inspiring.
Yes, it really, really is. Well, that's going to do it for us today. So for Nekkra and the whole team behind FTW Philly, presented by Temple University, I'm Marisa Magnatta, and we'll see you next time.